Hey Hunters, Halazu here for another One D&D video, looking at the best and worst of the various incarnations of the different classes, except Monk, because there's not a second version yet. But today we have the Fighter, the second warrior, and also the last one we're looking at, because Monk isn't around for these videos. So right off the bat, we're starting in Playtest 5. Persuasion's added as a class skill. It kind of fits for the Warlord style players, which is a thing that exists, but it's nice. Second Wind. It can be used more times per day without short rests. Yeah, this is a whole problem. So, it's time for probably the biggest of the many tirades I'm going to go on, with an even bigger one going on in a future video that I think you all know which one that's going to be. The problem so basically, instead of having a number of second winds equal to the number of times you short rest each day, they decided, okay, you're just going to be stuck with 2 per day. That's it. The problem with getting more second wind uses was never you had only 1 per encounter, or could have only 1 per encounter. That was never a problem. The problem was groups don't take short rests because they take an hour. So basically, instead of actually fix the problem with using second wind more, they instead said, okay, we're just going to make second wind a daily resource, and then all but neuter its resource uses per day. So yeah, you're basically stuck to 2 uses per day. That's it now. And it's only going to get worse. So you cap out at 4, which, I mean, it's nice if you want to use it 4 times in a single encounter, which sometimes you need. But for the most part, not good, because it's basically missing the problem, which is a whole theme of Playtest 5, where they clearly don't understand the problem is with short rests themselves. But yeah, that's second wind. Otherwise, it's fine. Weapon mastery. So I didn't really talk about this much in the Barbarian video, mostly because it's more relevant here, where you get 3 weapon masteries, which, okay, it's fine. 4, I mean, you can kind of use it where you have a weapon of each damage type and a ranged option. 5, I don't care about, but it is what it is. And Vex also exists on Fighter, which is kind of powerful, because you have a lot of attacks that you can make in a turn. The more attacks you can make in a turn, the crazier Vex can get. But we'll talk about how crazy it got next, in the next UA. But I'll just say, from the second I saw Vex, I knew it had to change. I said, Vex needs to die in this current incarnation. Like, please, don't make it give advantage. It's gonna be busted. But, yeah. Action Surge is, in this version, heavily limited to just attack, dash, disengage, or dodge. It's fine. It gets rid of the worst of it, but I do think that this is fine. It does what they wanted it to, which was specifically get rid of the spellcasting stuff. and kind of limit you to fighter stuff. It's like it's a fighter feature. Do fighter stuff. You know? 3rd level subclass. Same as before. Feat. You also get a feat at 5th level now, which... Yeah, for one, I hate the extra ability score improvements. I want them to die in a hole and never come back. Please, Wizards. Get rid of them once and for all. Give them extra action surge uses. That would actually be fun. Where you can get more action surges per encounter. That'd be a lot more interesting and fun than just more ASIs. And it's certainly bad having them back to back. Please change that. That was kind of bad. Whereas like, oh, you just got one. Oh, I get another one. And extra attack. No. 6th level, subclass feature. Standardized progression. Fighter isn't really affected badly by it, but it's not like some classes where they lost a high level feature for a 14th level feature. So it doesn't, they didn't fare as badly, but it's still kind of like, nah. Weapon expert. So whenever you finish the long rest, choose one of the kinds of mastery weapons you're using and replace its mastery property with another mastery property. Basically, masteries are a bit better, where instead of being, oh, it's specific to the weapon, you can now use various types of mastery. So you actually have choices with masteries. Okay. Why couldn't it work like this by default? Yeah. This would have been nice if that's just how it worked, rather than just fighters getting this. Okay. 9th level, Indomitable. Basically, you just get 1 use per day of Indomitable. Same as before. But it's about to get bad. 11th level, 2 extra attacks. Still not a fan of it. At all. Not a fan. So, and I will give the caveat that I am more willing to give triple attack to fighter. It's the quadruple attack that I'm not a fan of. Like, especially not a fan of. I would much rather see monks get extra attacks over fighter or anyone else. But post playtest 7, I would not mind seeing this stay. But I also would definitely not mind if this just went away from fighter and was given to monks. Weapon adept. Now you get 2 masteries for your weapon instead of 1, and get to choose them each attack. Why the heck could this not be the default, Wizards? This basically reads as, oh, weapon mastery is now fun and actually interesting, where you actually get to make choices with it and all that. Instead of having a feature that's very clumsy because you have to swap weapons constantly to take advantage of it. What the heck? This is just what it should be by default, where you have different options you can use with any attack and not have it be weapon specific. Like, I get giving them more weapon masteries, but beyond the 4th, it doesn't really matter that you have 5. Like, what am I going to pick as my 5th weapon? There's little reason to have it. Like, maybe if I'm a 2-handed build, or maybe if I'm dual wielding, but even then, I could be doing so many other things that are more interesting. And weapon adept is like, yeah, I would like if weapon mastery was more interesting, rather than have to wait till level 13 to actually have a fun weapon mastery. 50 level improved action surge, double action surge. Definitely nice, though I wish there was one earlier. Like, perhaps, I don't know, 6th level. when you would get an extra feat. 60th level, extra feat. I believe... Where was the other extra feat, actually? It was... Wait. Did they actually... Yeah, I think they actually removed the second extra feat. Which I actually welcome, because screw that. Never liked it. 17th, Unconquerable. You can use Indomitable again by using Second Wind. But it also heals you, which... Okay, fine. But... Yeah, not a fan of this. Because there's a lot of times where you just don't want a Second Wind. Or, you know, your Second Wind would overheal you, so you don't want to use it, but you need an Indomitable use. It's... Ugh. Ugh. I mean, at the very least, it doesn't... I would say it would be even worse if it didn't heal you as well, but... Why? Like, it wasn't a separate resource before. It shouldn't be a shared resource. Just make it where you have more Indomitable uses, instead of consolidating it with Second Wind. Like, it's fine. Ugh. Triple attack, 3 extra attacks is now at 18th. Meh. I hate this. I don't want it on fighter. Please get rid of it for something else. It could be so much better than just, oh, hit stuff even more than a monk can. Okay. So stupid. Yeah. And that is Playtest 5. So, I will say, Playtest 5, it's actually... Yeah. Like, the Weapon Master idea, it's cool in theory, but... The change to Second Wind just... Ugh. And the extra Weapon Mastery stuff, it's like... I would like if this was just how it worked in general, and not be... Oh, only fighters can use... Weapon Mastery well. Yeah. So, Playtest 7. What changed? So, Fighting Style you can actually change now, which... Fine. Second Wind, you get uses back with a short rest. Thank you, Wizards. You still have multiple uses per day, so you can use multiple in an encounter, but whenever you short rest, you get a use back. So that original functionality, still there. Perfect. We're good. So much better. Weapon Mastery. You now get a 6th. Okay, I already didn't care about having 5. Like, I don't need 6. What am I supposed to do with the 6th one? Like, in practice, it's like, I don't care. I don't need a 6th weapon to use. It's just... Ugh. Especially if I had to mess with sheathing and unsheathing my weapons. This is the... Ugh. Action Surge. It's been changed to just not magic action. Much simpler way of saying, no, you can't use this to break spell casting. But you can do anything else. Which, perfectly fine, actually. And they consolidated the improved action surge with base action surge. Perfect, in my opinion. It's not fun when you have a feature that's just like, oh, you get another one as a separate feature. They also added Tactical Mind. So, when you fail an ability check, you can use Second Wind to roll a d10 and add it to the ability check. And you're refunded if it doesn't succeed. So, perfect. I actually don't mind this. Especially with the idea that you can still get them back with short rests. And the idea that you can have multiple uses per day. without needing short rests. This is good. I do like this, where sure, it's still using the same resource, but I'm fine with it being a resource that you don't always need to worry about too much with the healing. So this is good. Ability score improvement, it's still at, they returned the 14th level one, which, I hate it. And they still have the 6th level one. Still hate it. Don't like the extra ones, but at the very least, it's not back-to-back getting one anymore, which, fair, in my opinion. But I feel like you could do so much more. Like, getting a 3rd action surge, but earlier. Yeah, it'd be nice. Tactical shift, whenever you second wind with a bonus action, move half your speed without provoking opportunity attacks. Nice. I kind of wish this... The problem I have is that I don't always need the healing, which means there's a lot of cases where I want to tactical shift, but I would overheal myself, or not even heal anything, because I didn't need healing. So I kind of wish this didn't come with the heal. But it's got, I have mixed opinions. Like, perhaps it could be once per short rest you can tactical shift. Or maybe it's whenever you kill an enemy or something. Kind of change this up, maybe. Just because I don't want to use second wind to get this. Because it's, like, half the time I'm not going to need the healing. But it is nice that you have a use other than just healing, which I like. Indomitable now has extra uses of its own. And it's long rest only. So, great. Much better. I'm not wasting second winds on Indomitable anymore. Thank you. It never should have changed, but that was the world we lived in. 9th, Master of Armaments. And it's just what you had before, where you replace a weapon mastery. Yeah. Not a fan of this. I wish it was just kind of like this by default, and it wasn't just, oh yeah, only fighters get an actually decent one. I wish it just worked better by default and was more fun by default, rather than you have a class feature, slap a band-aid on it. Especially when they've, like, done really good with the brawler fighter, where it's like, yeah, you straight up just get the ability to use any of these properties with an improvised weapon, where it's like, yes, please, this is how it should be. Let me do this all the time. Like, just make this how it works. Because then I would actually care about having more. Where it's like, yeah, I have more. I care about this. But it is what it is. Master of Armaments, I think you also got it later, too. Yeah, you get it 2 levels later. Not a great fan of this. But I do still kind of just wish Weapon Mastery was just at-will attacks. Or something like it. Extra attacks. Still not the biggest fan of them. But at least here, the triple attack. Yeah, it's actually kind of balanced, but if only it wasn't... though, for once, I'd have to say, if only it was exclusive to Fighter, because they gave it to somebody else here. And I question what the hell they were thinking. But, speaking of what the hell was Wizards thinking, level 13, Studied Attacks. I have to give this 2 scores. on one hand, in theory, this is a really cool idea where, oh, I missed. Okay, I get advantage on the next attack. So the next attack's more likely to hit. I love this idea. The problem: Vex weapon mastery. How the hell did Wizards not see? Wait. Studied attacks triggers advantage on miss. Vex triggers advantage on hit, thereby giving you infinite advantage for just swinging your weapon. You have advantage. What the heck, Wizards? This is absurd. To the point where I said, like, straight up said, this is bad. Like, I had to give it a low grade because I'm like, no. This doesn't work with Vex. It is despicable. It's like, I thought it was bad for rogues to get Vex and constantly be able to get advantage without needing steady aim. Oh boy, was I wrong when this came out. It's like, oh no. Why would you let them get infinite advantage, Wizards? It's fine with anything else, but ugh. Why did Vex never get changed? I've been warning you that Vex was overpowered, and now you've broken the dam, and oh gosh, is it bad. But anyway, as if this was gonna get, instead of getting more positive, we get to get more negative as we talk about Champion. So, if you haven't seen other content, yeah, so, a bit of context. I have never liked Champion. I have always hated this subclass with a passion, to the point I killed it off in D&D 5.5 to take several of its features and bake them into the base of Fighter. So yeah, as a result, blanket statement, I hate improved critical. Just no, please, get this out of here. Like, what makes critical hits fun is that they don't happen often. I mean, sure, this isn't Pathfinder levels of crits raining from the sky, because, oh boy, did they make it way too easy to crit in Pathfinder 2e. I mean, sure, it's still an improvement from 3rd edition and 3.5 and Pathfinder 1e, with the stupid thing that is confirming critical hits, but still not a fan of this. Just, no. No. And, of course, superior critical already. Hate it even more. No. No, just no. What about the other stuff? Adaptable Victor. Basically, each day you get a free skill proficiency. Okay. It's fine. It's still fighter skills only, but it's nice, you know. It's a bonus. Additional fighting style. Just give this to all fighters. It's such a cool idea. That'd be so nice for all fighters to have, where it's like, you know, you're the master of fighting styles, where you eventually get a second fighting style, to the point where, yeah, I just poached it from Champion. And I even have a video called the Champion Scale, which is basically the Storm Scale, but D&D subclasses, where I specifically put Champion at a 5, which is the equivalent of 10. Where it's like, yeah, no, it's not coming back. It's one of the 3 explicitly not returning that isn't Artificer, or because that one's a very weird one. But anyway, this is about One D&D, so yeah. Additional fighting style. Base fighter, please. Heroic warrior. Oh boy. Getting heroic advantage once per combat. I mean, I guess it's once per combat you get it, which, fine. Superior critical. Already said I hate it. Survivor. Now helps with death saves. Yeah. Why didn't this do that before? Like, it's one of those questionable things, but I do actually like this idea, and I might actually poach this for 5.5 Fighter, because this is another feature that got poached. Where it's like, yes, I'm giving Survivor to all fighters. They did actually lose their old strength bonus, but nah. Between it and adaptable, you're just like, nah, I don't really care about either. Like, or which one gets used. But Survivor, it's probably my most positive thing of, yeah, I like the idea that you just have a bonus on death saves. Like, what better way of representing your surviving stupid stuff than this? Heroic Rally, it's Heroic Rally. It's the healing part we know and love. So, what happened? Remarkable Athlete came back, and it specifies it gives advantage on initiative rolls now. Something it actually apparently did, but it was never specified. So it's like you have advantage on initiative rolls and athletics checks. And you get a bonus to your jump distance for running long jumps equal to your strength mod. So basically you double the strength mod for it. That's nice. I like it. Level 7 is the additional fighting style, which I wish just was baseline. 10th, Heroic Warrior. So, they let it be every frickin' turn. What? Also, keep in mind, so it's not once per combat anymore. It's every combat. And, in general, this is even dumber because 3 levels later, the busted piece of crap that is studied attack happens. And, oh boy, is Champion stupid with it. Where now, the one thing that Vex studied attacks doesn't get is the first attack. Now you just have combat for every single attack, including the first. Because you can give yourself heroic advantage, use it to give advantage, and go from there. And then after that, you can just use heroic advantage on saving throws and stuff and all that, and just be absolutely busted. Just get rid of this, Wizards. It's... ugh. Please give them a different level 7 and 10 feature. With level 7, of course, going to base fighter, because it's... it's so cool. Like, it should not be locked behind the... like, one of the worst designed subclasses fighter has. And I can't even call it the worst because Arcade Archer exists. Wizards. Superior Critical. At the very least, it's moved back 5 levels, which... better. But I still don't like the crit bonus part of this subclass. And Survivor. It does what it did before. And, like, it's pretty much, like, they got it right last time. It's not quite the same they got it right as Berserker Barbarian, but, yeah. This version of Survivor, I like it. I wish it wasn't locked behind Champion, but, it is what it is. Overall, Fighter... I think its biggest problem is that, and I will say, like, Fighter has potential. It's just, I still feel like it's the class that I feel like they never get right in any system. Like, 4th edition came the closest, but then again, where it kind of removed all the problems I've had with various versions, where it's like, oh, more feats. more ability scores. And then Pathfinders, like, terrible mess that is 2E Fighter, which not a fan of. Especially because, like, it is just beyond basic, and yeah, no. But I think it's also marred by the fact that weapon mastery is kind of a letdown. So much potential in this if they just made it at-will powers coming back. Like, eh. And of course, champion is, yeah, meh. I've always hated it. So if this video comes off as a bit negative, please understand that it's like, I've always kind of had problems with fighter, and this is kind of more of that, but add on an absolutely busted feature that shouldn't be busted. Where it's like such a good idea, but it's kind of marred by weapon mastery. And champion, of course, which champion. It's basically the subclass equivalent of bards for me, where I've never enjoyed bard. It's the class I can't enjoy. Champion is the subclass I can never like. It is just a design I despise. That has some of the coolest stuff to give fighter if it wasn't locked behind the subclass. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video, despite all that. And like and subscribe for more stuff, such as the mages and all that. Plus various other stuff, such as D&D 5.5 things. But without further ado, I'll see y'all next time! Halo Zoo, out.